There is a molecule inside your brain that quietly decides what you do, what you avoid, what you chase, and what you ignore. You think you make decisions consciously. You think your mind is in control. You think your actions come from willpower, discipline, or logic. But the truth is far more uncomfortable. Dopamine is the force shaping your behavior long before you realize it. You wake up and reach for your phone without thinking. You tell yourself you'll work, but you end up scrolling. You plan to focus, but your attention slips away. You want to change, but something invisible pulls you back into the same habits. It feels like a battle with yourself. It feels like you are both the prisoner and the guard. And the more you try to force motivation, the faster it disappears. This is not a character flaw. This is chemistry. Your brain was not designed for the world you live in. It was built in a different era, shaped by hunger, danger, and unpredictability. It had one priority: survival, and dopamine was the system it used to guide your ancestors toward what kept them alive. It told them what mattered. It told them what was worth pursuing. It told them what to avoid. It was never meant to manage social media, multitasking, constant stimulation, and infinite sources of instant gratification. The ancient system is still running, but the world around it has completely changed. If you ever wonder why you lack motivation, why you feel overwhelmed, why you start things with excitement but can't maintain them, the answer is simple. Your dopamine system is exhausted, not broken, exhausted. And when dopamine becomes unbalanced, your brain begins to misinterpret reality itself. Tasks feel heavier. Focus becomes harder. The future feels further away. You blame yourself, but the truth is that something deeper is happening. Most people think dopamine is pleasure. It's not. Pleasure comes after. Dopamine comes before. Dopamine is the anticipation, the desire, the movement towards something. It is the system that says, go. It is the spark that creates momentum. Without it, everything feels pointless. With too much of it, everything becomes chaotic. The balance matters more than people realize. But before understanding how to fix dopamine, you must understand the trap. Because once you see the trap clearly, your entire life begins to make sense. Your brain works through spikes and baselines. When something excites you or promises a reward, dopamine spikes. This spike feels like curiosity, desire, interest, urgency. But the spike always falls. And after the spike, dopamine dips below your baseline. This dip feels like restlessness, boredom, anxiety, emptiness, or the urge to check something quickly. Your brain hates this dip. It wants relief. It wants stability. So it looks for the next fast spike. A notification, a message, a video, a snack, a new tab, a distraction. Each spike gives temporary relief, but each spike lowers the baseline a little more. This is how dopamine gets hijacked. Not through addiction in the dramatic sense. Through micro-habits repeated 1,000 times a day. Every small spike takes energy from your baseline. The baseline controls long-term motivation. And when the baseline drops, everything becomes harder. Work feels overwhelming. Thinking feels heavy. Starting feels impossible. Not because the task changed, but because your chemistry did. You don't feel unmotivated because you lack discipline. You feel unmotivated because your brain no longer believes the effort is worth it. Your dopamine system has been trained to respond to low-effort, high-stimulation activities. And anything that requires real focus loses the chemical support it used to have. Think about how many times you consume stimulation from the moment you wake up until you sleep. You check your phone. You scroll a little. You jump between apps. You watch quick videos. You chase small bursts of entertainment without even intending to. These constant microspikes slowly numb the system. The brain adapts through habituation. The more often it receives stimulation, the less it responds to it. And once the system is numb, even the things you used to love stop feeling rewarding. This is why your hobbies feel different. This is why you procrastinate, even tasks you care about. This is why nothing feels as exciting as it once did. Your brain hasn't lost interest in life. It has lost sensitivity to dopamine. The scariest part is that people think this is personality. They think I'm not motivated, I'm not productive, I'm not focused, when the truth is their brain is simply overstimulated. Identity becomes a reflection of chemistry, not character. But here's the moment everything begins to shift. Your brain has a second dopamine system, a deeper system. A system that doesn't come from instant stimulation but from effort, challenge, and progress. This system is quieter, slower, and far more powerful. It's the system responsible for long-term fulfillment, discipline, creativity, and ambition. And this system activates only when you overcome resistance. Think about that feeling you get after finishing something difficult. The calm satisfaction. The clarity, the grounded confidence. That is not motivation. That is dopamine from effort. It's more stable, more rewarding, and more aligned with long-term goals. The tragedy is that modern life barely activates this system anymore. We seek the quick spike, never the stable rise. But the great news is this. Your brain can rebalance. Your brain can restore its sensitivity. And once it does, motivation stops being something you chase. It becomes something you generate. Your brain rewrites itself through repetition and contrast. It doesn't need huge actions. It needs consistent signals. Small wins, tiny efforts, minimal friction. Because each small action becomes evidence that your brain uses to update its predictions about who you are. You think identity is psychological, but identity is biochemical. If you repeatedly give your brain experiences of avoidance, your brain predicts that you are someone who avoids. If you repeatedly give your brain experiences of beginning, even small beginnings, your brain predicts that you are someone who starts. These predictions change how dopamine is released. The brain rewards behaviors that match identity, and identity changes with behavior. This means you can rewire your sense of self not through affirmations, not through motivation, but through action. Action creates identity. Identity creates dopamine. Dopamine creates momentum. And momentum creates the version of you that you once believed you had lost. But how do you break the trap? How do you recalibrate a system that has been overstimulated for years? The answer is not what most people think. You don't need a full detox. You don't need to eliminate pleasure. You don't need to abandon technology. You need contrast. You need balance. You need to give your brain moments without stimulation so it can feel the difference again. Because when the brain feels the difference, it regains sensitivity. The first step is reducing microspikes. Not all of them. Just enough to create space. When you stop blasting your dopamine system with tiny hits every few minutes, your baseline begins to rise. Suddenly, small tasks feel less overwhelming. Your mind becomes clearer. You can sit with discomfort for slightly longer. This is the beginning. The second step is effort-based dopamine. The most powerful thing you can do is take one small action when you feel resistance. The action doesn't need to be significant. It only needs to be real. Your brain rewards the act of overcoming friction. This reward is subtle but strong, and unlike quick dopamine, it increases baseline. It builds resilience. It makes future tasks easier. It trains your brain to enjoy effort. The third step is tiny, predictable repetition. Your brain loves patterns. It loves routines. It loves what it can anticipate. When a behavior becomes predictable, your brain begins preparing dopamine before the action. This means motivation appears naturally. You don't wait for motivation. Your brain delivers it automatically because it knows what is coming. This is how habits become effortless. The fourth step is creating friction around easy dopamine. Not punishing yourself or going extreme, just placing small obstacles between you and the quick reward. Put your phone in another room while working. Disable unnecessary notifications. Create a physical distance that forces your brain to pause. That pause is where you regain control. That micro moment is where identity shifts. The person who pauses is not the person who reacts. The fifth step is identity reconstruction. Every time you finish something, Your brain updates its belief about who you are. You don't need huge achievements. You need evidence. Evidence that you take action. Evidence that you overcome resistance. Evidence that you follow through. With enough evidence, the brain begins generating dopamine in alignment with this new identity. You become someone who acts, someone who focuses, someone who doesn't wait. And one day much sooner than you expect, the heaviness lifts. Tasks feel lighter. Decisions feel clearer. The future feels possible again. Not because the world changed, because your chemistry changed. You restored contrast. You restored sensitivity. You restored momentum. And momentum is everything. Your brain is not broken. It is adaptable. It is waiting for direction. It responds to the signals you give it. If you feed it noise, it becomes chaotic. If you feed it contrast, it becomes calm. If you feed it effort, it becomes strong. If you feed it small wins, it becomes motivated. And when dopamine is working for you instead of against you, your entire life shifts. You stop forcing yourself to act. You start wanting to act. You stop dreading tasks. You start craving progress. You stop needing discipline. Discipline becomes natural. It becomes chemical. It becomes part of who you are. The world is full of distractions, but your brain is not designed to lose. It is designed to adapt. It is designed to evolve. It is designed to follow the signals you give it. If you teach it that the easy path matters, it will follow that. If you teach it that the meaningful path matters, it will follow that too. The question is not, how do I get motivated? The question is, what am I training my brain to value? When you understand dopamine, you understand yourself. When you control dopamine, you control your actions. And when you control your actions, you control the direction of your life. Everything changes when dopamine becomes yours again. If this video helped you understand yourself a little better, stay with us. This is just the first step of a much deeper journey into your mind. There is so much more to explore, so much more to uncover, and every week, we dive into the hidden mechanisms that shape your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior. If you want to keep growing, learning, and reconnecting with the strongest version of yourself, stay close to this channel. You're not alone in this process. We're building a space for people who want clarity, balance, and a real understanding of how their mind works. And if you feel like sharing, I would truly like to hear your story. Tell us in the comments what resonated with you. What part of your life dopamine has influenced the most, or what you're trying to change right now. Your experience might help someone else feel understood. Thank you for being here. Let's keep going. Together, into the universe, inside your mind. And if you want to walk this path with us, follow the channel and activate the notifications so you don't miss the next step of your own transformation.